Um, what's that? Alright, Dragon Line. Crap. Something clanks nearby. The sound reverberates in the still air, stretching and lengthening into a persistent hum. It sounds a bit like the ambient drone of an air circulation system, but as you listen it grows louder. Gradually it dawns on you that the noise isn't coming from the walls, but from the pods that protrude from them. There is something disconcerting about that sound. His hand drops to the hilt of his katana. I cannot place it, but there is another loud clank, and you catch a hint of motion in the pod nearest to you. The pod's occupant, a battered troll, riddled with chrome, shifts uneasily against his restraints. As you watch those restraints disconnect, the trolls and eyes slide open, and his face twists into a hateful snarl. Gaichu's nose wrinkles, bloodlust, I can smell it in the air. The thing that has awoken has no mind of its only thoughts are of violence. A monitor near you flickers to life. A nervous-looking Dr. Tang addresses you, eyes darting frantically around the room. I can't allow you to progress any further. Shiawase has invested millions of new yen in the research in this lab. I can't let you threaten it. If you try to get any closer, I'm going to have to stop you. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be. I'm coming to your lab. Now, best of luck with that. I'm getting what I came here for one way or another. I've seen what you're doing to these people, Doc. I'm gonna put a stop to your research permanently. Best of luck with that. I'm getting what I came here for one way or another. I can't let you do that. I can't. You can't stop me. How are you gonna stop me? She looks to the right, just off screen, and makes a slicing gesture with her right hand. She hisses to somebody off camera. I gave you the signal. Open the pods, damn it. Wake the damn things. The troll peers at you through red, vacant eyes. The door of his pod slides open. Like a chain reaction, several other pods follow suit. There's an explosion of motion from the pods, and the subjects contained within charge you like a pack of rabbit beasts. Alright, cool. How many are there? Exactly how many are there? Alright, I'm gonna stand on the dragon line. Flamethrower 4. Flamethrower 3. Alright, good start. You activate the bot. I don't think we need to improve the aim. Overclock the bot. The bot. Shotgun. 98%? You missed? Oh, he dodged it. 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think the guy dodged it because he had a special skill. Test subject. 66. I can't see anyone else. Sucks to suck. Alright, gyro jet pistol, 84%. And what happens? Oh. That's cool. That's really cool. Literally a rocket. Okay, can you like spit at him? He's gonna die next turn, right? Yeah, he's probably gonna die. Alright, then chop this guy. Please kill him. Thank you. Hey, the gyro jet pistol is really fun. It does a crap ton of damage. You turn to see Dr. Tong watching the scene from the telecom. Her face visibly pales as the final test subject falls to the floor. She splutters, barely able to form a coherent sentence. I can't. All of them. She stares bug-eyed into the camera, her pupils flitting back and forth as if she takes in the carnage. as she takes in the carnage on her screen, but they were supposed to be killing machines. Their cyberware was top of the line. I told you, you can't stop us. Can you just stop? Just give me what I want, and I'll leave. You're gonna have to do better than that. All that time, all that research, gone. Yeah, that's right, Janet. That's right, it's all gone. Tong stares vacantly at the screen, as if still processing the situation. She looks exhausted, terrified. Her skin shines with sweat. They hardly even slowed you down. Yeah, you wasted all this money, and you got these people killed for no reason. These were innocent people. She pulls herself back with a shake of her head. Her voice is weak. Look, you don't know what you're doing, how dangerous this is. You even being here is a huge breach of every lab safety protocol on the books. But you can still turn back. The deaths of those test subjects is on you, not me, but if you do what I say, there doesn't have to be any more bloodshed. I can hear the fear in your voice, Doctor. It tells me that you're out of tricks. Expect us shortly. Stay calm, and I will not be forced to hurt you. Look, you just don't get it. I work in a BSL-4 hot lab. That means I'm surrounded by aerosolized, lethal, highly infectious pathogens. Her voice comes out in a light, tight rasp. Literally anything that you find in here could kill you horribly. Hell, half the stuff in here could cause a global pandemic if it were to escape quarantine. This is more important than your damn job. So give me what I want, and I'll leave. She takes a deep breath, then releases it into the mic. Look, I don't expect you to listen to me, but I'm going to say it one last time. It would be in everyone's best interest for you to turn back, especially yours. She cuts the transmission and her face winks out across the various trit screens in the room. She's not very good at this, is she? She's not very persuasive. If you give me what I want, I will leave. These people, am I right? Alright, more trams. Terminal. So I never found the first aid locker. The door is still tight. An access panel beside it flashes red. Laboratory Gamma 4 quarantine. Security lockdown engaged. Access level Omega 4 required for entry. Locked. Shouldn't be a problem though. Try the keycard that you picked up, ACKC. If I remember correctly, it should have the appropriate credentials. Swipe the keycard. You lift the card to the slot, but before you can slide it through, the figure of a frightened woman erupts onto the scanner screen. Dr. Janet Tong. I told you before, you can't come in here. Her breaths come in tight panic gasps. She's doing her best to stay calm, but she's clearly terrified. I don't like repeating myself, so listen, please. This lab is restricted for a reason. Besides the obvious fact that it's full of deadly contagions, it also contains highly sensitive and very expensive equipment that only trained scientists can handle. You barge in here and mishandle a single vial, and you'll in all likelihood infect yourself with whatever's inside. That would be a disaster, and I mean quite literally. Guess you better give me some incentive to not mishandle any vials, then. Beads of sweat trace their way down her forehead. Are you joking, or are you just crazy? How many times do I have to tell you what will happen if you come in here and make a mistake? Yeah, if I make a mistake, you'll die. Rector scoffs at her. Come now, Doctor. Given the remote access precautions that these labs take, I seriously doubt that exposure is a serious risk. If this is anything like the labs that we had back in Russia, anything that could pose a serious threat is hidden behind rows of negative pressure safety nets, and accessible only via remote-operated model frames. I'll try to keep the lab intact, but no promises. I mean, the story is whack, right? You just give me what I want, and I'll leave. How hard is it? Open door? What is this? Why is this? Open door. Hey, how you doing? There's still dragon lines in there, we can still fight. Dr. Janet Tong stands firm. Given the situation, she looks remarkably well composed. She waits calmly as you approach, her shoulders held rigid and her arms crossed over her chest. Her two associates shuffle awkwardly behind her, their hands shaking. They both look terrified. I told you not to come in. You shouldn't be in here. Her tone is firm, but there's a slight tremor in the voice. Listen to me. You've made a horrible mistake. One wrong move and you'll release God knows what into the room. If you work with me instead of against me, we can all leave in one piece. Give me what I want and maybe I won't call your bluff. Tong raises her hands in a calming gesture. Just hear me out. We all want to walk out of here alive. I think that much is obvious. There's no going back now, so my associates and I are willing to cooperate with you to move things along faster. So this is me cooperating. You tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. No more arguments. Tell me about the super disease that you're cooking up in here. The cure, right? The doctor blinks at you. Her voice goes cold. You're talking about pathogen GT0009, SARS-3. If you thought SARS-2 was bad, they're doing SARS-3, you guys. SARS-3 is a novel coronavirus developed in a lab. That's the one. Tell me about it. I can't, I'm sorry, but all information on GT0, she cuts herself off. I mean, SARS-3 is classified. And for good reason. It's one of the worst things we've ever produced in this lab. We can't let you... Her eyes fly open. You're not here to take GT0009, are you? Please tell me that isn't what you're here to do. Remember what we agreed on. Help me and no one gets hurt. Don't go back on that now. I told you to tell me about the disease. Are you gonna do it or do I have to force you? Or do I force you to? She glances at her associates, both cowering behind her and shaking violently. You can hear one of them murmuring something in a language unknown to you. From the cadence of the words, you guess it's a prayer. She exhales slowly through her rebreather. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. SARS-3 is a Category 4 lethal pathogen. It's 99.98% fatal, excruciatingly painful, and it kills within a matter of weeks. It's actually not that scary. I mean, as of right now, the only cure is a prototype antibody treatment. We're still working on fine-tuning it. If it kills that many people, and it kills within a matter of weeks, it won't kill the entire human population. In fact, once people figure it out, like you just quarantine people for a few weeks, and then everyone who has it dies, and then everyone who doesn't have it will be fine. So a disease that kills everybody that it infects is actually not that dangerous, because it kills so fast and so thoroughly that it doesn't actually have the potential to spread very far. I mean, yeah, like okay, it's super scary because if you catch it, you die. But all you have to do is like hide in your home for a few weeks. And then everyone who has it just dies and then you're safe, right? So, like, a disease that kills at such a high percentage is not actually that dangerous to the species. Obviously, it's dangerous to individuals who catch it. More dangerous is are the diseases that aren't fatal, or aren't as fatal, or they take longer to die. So, like a disease like AIDS, for example, AIDS kills a lot of people. But how does AIDS work? AIDS itself doesn't kill you, but it weakens your immune system, and then eventually, over time, you die to other things. And so a lot of people die to AIDS, not because it kills you quickly, but because it kills you so slowly. And because it kills you so slowly, it has time to infect more people because you're still alive, you're carrying it, and you spread it to other people, right? So yeah, so like diseases that kill is not as bad as you might think. So like a disease like smallpox. In fact, let me just look at this up. Like smallpox was really bad. Smallpox was really, really bad. Um, but smallpox is not that fatal. Uh, 1 to 3 weeks, duration 4 weeks. Causes prognosis 30% risk of death. Look at that. Smallpox. Oh, can you see that? It's kind of small. So smallpox, only 30% of people who catch smallpox die. I mean, only 30% is a lot. But the reason smallpox is so terrible is not because it kills everyone that it infects. It kills a lot of people, but not enough that it would stop spreading. Like some people would get it, but they don't die from it, but they can still spread it to others because they're not dead, so they can spread it to others. That's what makes it really bad. So if it like, ironically, unexpected, like counterintuitively, something that's really lethal means that that doesn't spread as far. Anyway, let's keep on going with this story. In case you haven't been paying attention, I'm going to say this one more time. SARS-3 is terrible. It's easily the cruelest, most infectious, and most lethal thing ever to have come out of this lab. It cannot be allowed out into the wild. Yeah, like it's not... This is actually an oxymoron. Most infectious and most lethal. If it's the most lethal, it can't be the most infectious because it kills you before it can spread. So this is not. Yeah. I want to know more about how SARS-3 kills. I was attacked by some test subjects of yours. No, I want the cure. I want to know more about how SARS-3 kills. The disease works by replicating the identifying features of white blood cells. It tricks the immune system into ignoring it, and then it self-replicates at an exponential rate. During this early phase, while it's colonizing the body, a patient doesn't experience any overt symptoms, just a mild temperature and an elevated white cell count. That's it. She pauses. Are you sure you want me to go on? It's pretty gruesome. I didn't tell you to stop. Alright, okay, here we go. Once the virus has thoroughly colonized the host, it begins a devastating attack on the body. It rapidly infects epithelial cells, inserting its own RNA at such a tremendous rate that the cell membranes rupture, spewing cytoplasm and virions into surrounding cells. By the time the attack has begun, the damage dealt is almost immediately irreversible. She's just describing a normal virus, actually. She's not really describing anything special. This is like, isn't this how all viruses work? What kind of damage are we talking about? What does this thing actually do to people? The virus induces a hypersensitivity reaction in its host. Lungs fill with mucus and sputum, leading to hypoxia. Victims drown in their own fluids. I mean, okay, so SARS-2 is even worse than SARS-3. Like, what she's describing is not that bad. I mean, it's kind of bad, it's not that bad. SARS-2 induces a overly aggressive antibody response, and your own immune system attacks your lungs and damages your own lungs. It's not like the disease doesn't actually kill you, it's your immune system trying too hard to fight it and ended up killing your own lungs. That's SARS-2. SARS-3 is not as bad as SARS-2. We spent a long time developing GT0009. The secret was hybridizing the standard SARS coronavirus with the third strain of virally induced toxic allergy syndrome, Vitus 3. That's why standard treatments won't work. Oh, Vitus. So Vitus is an in-game fictional disease. Sounds terrible, but I guess it's probably effective. Yeah, well, don't want to be an I told you so, but she shrugs. It's a bioweapon. They don't have much deterrent value if they aren't horrible. She sighs, her eyelids heavy. Anyway, there you have it, SARS-3, my baby. I'm not exactly proud of having made it. Tell me about the cure. How do we fix somebody who's been exposed? We developed a strain of monoclonal antibodies in tandem with the disease. It isn't perfect, but it works. That's the only cure. I was attacked by some test subjects of yours on my way here. Care to tell me anything about that? Ah, Tong's eyes scan the ground at her feet. I suppose that there's no withholding information at this point, is there? Nope. You can see the doctor's cheeks pull downward as she frowns beneath her mask. She nods her head somberly. The two researchers behind her mimic her gesture, their heads bobbing up and down like a couple of pigeons. They're part of a study called Project Silver Dream. Each subject has been implanted with a prototype BTL chip. The goal of the project is to create a perfect switch for sleeper agents and spies, one that can remain undetected by current scanning and identification technology. As of right now, the project is still in an early testing. Our subjects are more often used as testbeds for new cyberware, while the Silver Dream BTL chip is being refined. A necessary adaptation, considering that our field experiments have only achieved partial success so far. Unfortunately, we haven't always been able to maintain complete control over the test subjects. The Silver Dream team is still working on that. Have you considered that you're never gonna get perfect control over someone using BTLs? Have you considered that BTLs just aren't that good? Your run-in with the test subjects wasn't an accident. I'm sure that you'd figured that out already. It was a hasty decision on my end. You already know why I did it. They were the only thing standing between you and my lab, and I was trying to avoid a containment breach. I stand by that decision for what it's worth. Yeah, no, your guys, they're not that good. I'm telling you, the product is not very good. First of all, you can't control them 100%. Second of all, they're not very good fighters. These test subjects of yours, is there any way to disconnect them from whatever you're feeding into their heads? The program runs on a delicate framework. Casual tinkering with the system could be dangerous, not just for our machines, but for the subjects as well. If you really want to disconnect the test subjects, there is a particular order that you need to do it in. First, you need to disconnect the matrix interlocks. Then you need to initiate a supervised override of the SimSense feeds. Trying to do anything with the subjects without observing the proper procedures would be disastrous. If I were to try it myself without help and the proper permissions, I'd probably flub it. That would in turn trigger the station's matrix defenses, which would only make a bad situation worse. If you want to do anything with those test subjects, knock yourself out, but don't expect me to help. I know when I'm in over my head.